Today I want to discuss the impact of renewable energy infrastructure on our rural communities in Wales. Wales is known for its breathtaking landscapes, rolling hills, charming villages and its sense of peace. This beauty attracts thousands of tourists each year and it's a vital part of our rural economy. However, large-scale wind farms and their pylons threaten this. While renewable energy is crucial, we can't ignore the potential harm that these projects can inflict on the very communities they're supposed to help. Imagine this. You wake up to the consistent sound of a hum of a turbine blade. Some residents have described this similar sound to a plane consistently being overhead. This isn't science fiction, it is a reality for many living near wind farms. Studies show that wind turbines can disrupt sleep and concentration with low-frequency noise. These colossal structures also alter the visual landscape, potentially impacting tourism and residents' sense of place. This is particularly concerning for areas that rely on scenic beauty, like some of the proposed areas for turbines and pylons in my constituency in Brecon and Radnorshire. Furthermore, the colossal size of these structures can cast long shadows, unsettling shadows, a phenomenon known as shadow flicker, further disrupting the peacefulness of rural areas. Large-scale renewable projects can drastically change the character of the countryside. A study found statistically significant negative impact on property values near onshore wind farms. While some landowners benefit from leasing land, a decline in property values can have a ripple effect on the entire community. With 1 in 7 jobs in Wales dependent on tourism, this sector is a major contributor to the rural economy. Tourism is key in many rural parts of Wales, providing much-needed jobs, supplementing farm incomes and bringing spend in communities that keep businesses viable. When the draw for tourists is the natural beauty and aesthetics and the tranquility, it is clear that large-scale wind turbine developments and pylons will adversely affect and impact these areas. It will impact jobs and local businesses and all those industries associated in the rural economy. Perhaps the most concerning aspect is the feeling of voicelessness amongst residents. Many communities fear that they have little say in the decision-making process surrounding wind farm development. Consultations, if they happen at all, can often feel like a mere formality. A 2023 BBC investigation revealed numerous instances where residents felt their concerns about noise, aesthetics and potential health impacts were disregarded. With any such infrastructure projects, there are statutory planning processes to follow. I had hoped that this would be a significant safeguard, but I have my doubts, and I give you the example of Hendy Wind Farm. The final decision was taken by Welsh Government ministers under the Development of National Significance process. It ignored local community feedback, county councillor representations and the basic principles of Planning Policy Wales. It even disregarded the recommendations from PEDW officers from within the Welsh Government. All that pain for the community. And despite it being constructed in 2021, the site is still not operational and it is not generating any electricity. If the developers believe that their plans are appropriate for the area, then why not let the local planning process run its due course? By classifying these developments as developments of national significance and giving Welsh ministers the final say, this subverts a well-established planning procedure in local authorities that has the necessary safeguards in place to ensure communities are protected from large corporate interests. As the Campaign for the Protection of Rural Wales has said, they are concerned for communities who are battling against big corporates like David and Goliath. When it comes to pylon infrastructure, Planning Policy Wales clearly states that where possible and the preferred option is for undergrounding of cables. Yet in many developments, we are told this is simply not financially viable. All these developments should be designed in the first instance to comply with Planning Policy Wales. They cannot use costs as an excuse to circumvent the planning policies here in Wales. And I think Welsh ministers need to be a lot stronger in following their own government's guidance that's set out in planning law. Many communities are also promised the benefits by these developments. These range from funding to local amenities, to direct payments to individuals, and to the community receiving electricity generated directly from those developments. So in theory, some will benefit, others will lose out. But let us remember, these are big corporate interests, big business, and what are being offered will be in no doubt dwarfed by the big returns for shareholders and the potential export of the energy generated. Developers can simply not come into our country and think they can buy up rural Wales. It's simply not happening. If a mining operation come into Wales and any community offering vast sums of money to locals in return for desecrating the countryside, there would rightly be outcry from every political party in this chamber. Yet in our race to net zero, the same is allowed for renewables. When the damage caused by their construction, from the concrete needed for bases, the materials needed to build temporary roads on pristine upland areas, going into rivers to create other roads which are currently being protected by the Welsh Government, all this stuff is rarely given consideration and planning is granted anyway against policy. In a recent report to the Economy, Trade and Rural Affairs Committee, it cited offshore projects contribute more than 6.5 million a year to the Welsh communities. But I'd like to know where. They say examples include landowner payments supporting rural diversification. But many farmers have done this already, creating holiday lets, only to have the rug pulled under them from this Welsh Labour government. Other benefits include business rates over the lifetime of the project or habitat restoration. Yet these are incurred because of the activities that they are undertaking. As one constituent summed it up to me at a consultation event recently, this all means absolutely nothing to me. Job creation is also mentioned on various fronts, but in practice, it's rarely seen. There may be some local employment in the construction phase, but beyond that, the work dries up. As well as citing job creation, there should be consideration given to the job losses as a result. I've already mentioned the hit to tourism and how many jobs we lost through our loss of our farmland, tourism, and all the associated trades. That is never taken into account when we discuss these applications. I do want to see local residents to see tangible benefits, but the current model falls short in this regard. This doesn't mean abandoning renewable energy altogether. We need modern solutions to fight climate change, and wind power offers a clean alternative. However, responsible development is key. Setting stricter noise emission limits, ensuring turbines are placed further away from homes, and offering more robust community consultation are critical steps in what needs to be taken forward. Exploring more offshore options for development. Sustainable solutions also need to consider the times when the wind doesn't blow and also the sun doesn't shine. For that reason, sustainable energy mix, we must also include hydro schemes and more nuclear power stations across our country. The Welsh Government's own analysis indicates that onshore wind projects will contribute less to the meeting of the 100% target by 2035. But there's a better solution within reach. Just one additional offshore wind lease in the Irish Sea, similar to the successful Mona project, could generate as much clean energy as all the proposed onshore wind developments combined. By working together with the UK Government, to secure the lease with the Crown Estate swiftly, we could achieve in Wales our 100% renewable target set by 2035. This collaborative approach would allow us to avoid vast amounts of infrastructure, disrupting our beautiful landscapes for generations to come. Wind farms can be a powerful tool in our fight for a sustainable future, but that cannot be at the expense of rural communities. I have several proposed developments, as I've said earlier, in my constituency, and I am opposing them because of the concerns I have raised here today. Let us embrace renewable energy, but it has to be done in a way that respects people and the places that are the stewards of our beautiful countryside. It is our job here in this Senedd to protect rural Wales and its interests. And I hope the Welsh Government won't sacrifice my communities and the communities of rural Wales on its road to net zero. Diolch, Deputy Llywelyn.